Happy hump day, my friends, and welcome back into another edition of Prime Sports World. On today's episode of the Prime, we're going to be breaking down the Houston Texans, who made a lot of moves this offseason and put them in a position to probably be one of the best teams in the AFC this upcoming season. I'm David Huppin. Right there is my co-host, Mr. TJ Hopkins. Please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast if you like what we're doing. TJ, happy hump day, my friend. How are you?
Same fight, different round, the usual.
I feel you. My cat has returned, so I'm pretty excited about my cat being back. As you do know, I do like my cat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so let's get right into it without wasting any more time. Let's talk about the Houston Texans. And we're going to start with year 2, talking about CJ Stroud. What are your expectations going in for year 2 for CJ Stroud after a very strong rookie season, throwing for 4,100 yards, 23 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions? TJ, what are we looking for CJ Stroud this season as he takes another step forward, you would expect, right?
What do I always say?
Do it again, baby. Gotta do it again.
The thing that's irked me about sports media for a while now, and this is dating back to our days in college, is they're so quick to crown the next person. Like CJ Stroud had one good. I miss the days where one good year doesn't put you in the top 10 of anything. One good year don't make you an MVP candidate. One good year don't make you. They're putting CJ Stroud in top 10s and top 5s and all this other stuff off of 1 year. And I'm not saying CJ Stroud ain't good. I'm just saying, damn, can we do it again? Can he do it again?
I mean, because it's very easy to come into the league, catch the league kind of off guard and kind of play really strong for one season. But once you start having tape on you, that's when stuff starts to get real. Like, it's the quarterbacks that still succeed even after the tape comes out, like a Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, those type of players. I mean,
Brady, Rodgers,
yeah.
Like, that's why. Like, you want to know why they've been good for so long? That's why. Like, that's what it takes. So it's. Like anybody, and I say it all the time. Like the NFL NFL Network used to have those top 10 episodes.
I used to love that stuff.
And one of the episodes was top 10 one-hit wonders. It was players who had one good season or one great season, and then you didn't hear from them again.
Peyton Hillis from the Browns that one season.
Like Icky Johnson for the Bengals rushed for
Icky, yeah.
I think that's Icky something. Like he rushed for I
think it's Icky Woods. I think Woods.
He rushed for 1,400 yards for the Bengals and then never got close to it again. So it's 4,100 yards, 23 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. On top of that, it's real easy to play when you have zero expectations.
Yep.
There was. If anybody said they had the Texans doing anything good last year, they're lying. Like they're lying through their teeth. Don't believe them. Don't fall.
Not to mention, I mean, they are not going to sneak up on people this season. Like people are they made the playoffs last season, and they gave the Browns all they could handle in that playoff game, or they beat the playoff Browns, right? They beat them down.
They beat the Browns. They
at home, and
they gave Baltimore. It was Baltimore that
they
gave Baltimore a little bit. They ain't beat them down.
So they're not sneaking up on anybody now, and I think people are going to be ready for CJ Stroud. They're going to be ready for the Houston Texans, especially the moves they made in the offseason that we'll talk about later in the show. But I think it's not unrealistic to think that CJ Stroud could throw for 4,500 yards. I mean, it's not unrealistic to see he could throw for 30 touchdowns this season.
It's not. It's not, but again, you want to be one of the greats?
Do it again, baby. Moving on from there, let's swing on to the other side of the ball. Let's talk about this defense. This defense was, just kind of run of the mill last season, but they've done some stuff this offseason that should make this a better unit. You add Daniil Hunter, who's a double-digit sack guy on his worst days. You expect Will Anderson to take another step forward. When you look at this defense on paper, obviously we're just looking at this on paper, and obviously football isn't played on paper. But when you look at the defense on paper, this should be one of the best defensive units in not just the AFC, but the entire NFL. I mean, Jeffrey Okudah, who's had moments when he's been healthy. I mean, Derek Stingley Jr., when he's been healthy, he's been one of the better corners in the NFL. Jimmy Ward, I mean, Christian Harris, Daniil Hunter, Danico Autry, Will Harris Jr., Fatu Saki, who they stole from the Jacksonville Jaguars. Like, this should be one of the best defenses in the NFL. They got Azeez Al-Shire, who they took from the San Francisco 49ers, I think 2 seasons ago, still on this team. Jerry Hughes, the ageless wonder, is still on this team. Mario Edwards, who was a fantastic edge rusher at one point in his career. Derek Barnett is part of that Philadelphia Eagles team that went to the Super Bowl 5 years ago now. It feels
something like that.
Yeah.
Well, they got some guys on that defense, man. Like they got some guys on that defense, but again, it's like you said, you don't play games on paper. We've seen teams have all these names on defense, and we've seen teams with those names not amount to anything. And obviously we've seen the opposite.
Also, welcome to the show, CEO of Prime Sports World, Mr. Israel Rivera. Welcome to the show, man. We're wearing another defense, the Houston Texans. What do you got? Talk to me.
What do I got, man? You know what? I like this defense. I mean, the only thing about this defense is I think that up the mid, I think that you can run on them in between the tackles, in my opinion. But I love their secondary: Jalen Petrie, Jimmy Ward, Desmond King, Derek Stingley. I mean, talk about a no-fly zone. Talk about rangy guys that.
See what I'm talking about?
It's too early for the no-fly zone, man.
See what I'm talking
about? No. He said, "See what I'm talking about."
See what I'm talking about?
Why you doing that? What you?
TJ just went on a whole rant about how like nobody accomplishes anything anymore. They have one good season. They want to be anointed.
He does, but come on now. He does this all the time for the teams that turn it around big time. No, their defense
and I'm right most of the time. Like, am I not?
Their defense is really solid. The only weakness I will say is that I think that teams can run on them in between the tackles.
I mean, they brought in a defensive tackle. They brought in Fatu Saki, who's a fantastic. Danico Autry is now part of this football team. Like, this should be one of the best. This is going to be the best defense in the AFC, I think.
I think I gotta see how their run defense looks. I think they can shut shit down behind the. I'm sweating. I think they can shut things down. I think they can shut things down. In the back end. I think their secondary is going to make it very tough on wide receiver cores. And I think that they get after the quarterback. I think having that linebacker core is pretty solid as well. But like I said, until I see that they're able to whatever changes that they made from last year to this year on the defensive line in the interior, I got to see how well they can stop the run this season. And I just think that I just thought last year that was a weakness of theirs, right? That you can run in between the tackles on the Houston Texans. So let's see what they do how they do this year. But I do agree. I don't know about best defense in the AFC, TJ.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
Baltimore Ravens are still there.
Yeah,
the Chiefs are still there.
If the Pittsburgh Steelers have any resemblance of a Cleveland, yeah, exactly.
So I guess we'll see. But let's talk
the New
about
York Jets are still there.
Let's talk about this entire roster as a whole. Is this the best team on paper in the AFC? Yes or no?
No.
Because we're
talking about paper.
You want to know where a weakness is? Yes, Laramie Tunsil's a solid ass left tackle, but across that offensive line, I do not trust the rights. Yeah, you know what I'm saying, TJ? Like, I feel like when you go against teams, I haven't looked at their schedule, but when you go against teams that can bring it on the edge And even in the middle, like you're gonna go against guys like Quentin Williams. You're gonna go against guys like Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack. You're gonna go against TJ Watt. You're gonna go against those kind of guys, and I think those kind of guys can expose, especially if you put them on the other side of the line. I mean, I really don't trust the rest of this Houston Texans offensive line. They're a bit of a wild card in my opinion.
I will agree with you on that aspect. I think Larry
That's the only thing.
Kenyon Green, I do like, but he hasn't really kind of been the player that people thought he'd be as they drafted him. But the whole right side of this offensive line and the center position is all kind of question mark. Shaq Mason, who's bounced around the NFL. Titus Howard is another guy who's bounced around a little bit. And then Drew Scroggins, I don't even know. He might be a rookie.
So yes, so and so I think that they're going to be able to, when it's time to run the football in close games, if they have a small lead and in close games, I hope they can. Right, TJ? Like, I hope they can run the football with the Joe Mixon, who's a power running back, as opposed to having a Devin Singletary, who was a guy that was more or less likely to bounce it outside, right? And you still have Damian Pierce, who's, you got those are two power running backs. Power 1-2 punch.
I'm
up
good
the middle.
I'm good with
them too.
I do like their third running back. Their Ogunbowale. I'm not sure if I'm that guy is
Ogunbowale, Dare Ogunbowale. He's solid. Yeah.
I think he's a good too. Like as a third running back. Like he can go.
Let's talk about the weapons though.
Yeah, Bobby Schultz is cousin.
Bobby Schultz cousin. Stephon Diggs, Nico Collins, Tank Dell, Noah Brown. We haven't
Robert
even gotten
Woods, John Mechie the third.
We haven't even gotten to John Mechie, who probably ain't even. I don't even know how much playing time is he gonna get with all those
Sims, Ben Skoranek
in front of him. I don't know. I don't even think a lot of those guys are even gonna get it. Those first four guys,
they can only play empty. 3 of them anyway. So
look. I mean, I could see a scenario going empty. You're splitting out Dalton Schultz. It's pick your poison. Like Tank Dell in the slot burning you, Noah Brown in the slot. You got Nico Collins and Stephon Diggs on the outside. Dalton Schultz is a matchup problem. And then CJ Stroud. I know you guys talked about him earlier. But CJ Stroud has the bravado, the maturity to be a star in this league. And he showed that he can play on this level at a high level. And he broke that Ohio State, quote unquote, like quarterback curse of all the Ohio State quarterbacks.
It's only been one season. So as CJ would like to say, let's see him do it again before curses are being broken.
That's fair. And to be fair to the other Ohio State quarterbacks, let's not act like they were sent to great destinations to be great. Like they really weren't. CJ Stroud, people really don't understand the advantage that DeMeco Ryans gave him when he just told him, "Hey, play ball." Don't worry about turning the ball over. Don't worry about missing throws. Don't worry about any mistakes you make. Why? Because you're going to make them. There's no one here there's no need to, if you make a mistake, to look over your shoulder worrying if I'm going to do something to you. It's not going to happen. Best team in the AFC? No. We said we said the teams that could give them problems that they could run into, and they're all championship teams, caliber teams. This is a Texans team that they luck kind of went their way last season, right? Trevor Lawrence gets banged up and he's clearly not 100%, and that's why I blame the Jags for not saving him from himself. Dude, you're clearly not 100%. Go sit down. Don't mess that injury up any worse than what it already is. So yeah, they had a little bit of luck. Joe Flacco became old in there right in front of them in that playoff game, right? Then what happened? They ran into a better team. They ran into Baltimore and they got sent home. So I think that's kind of what they're probably going to be. If they win a division, if they make the playoffs, they'll probably win a game. maybe 2, depending on who that opponent is. But they're going to run into somebody better than them sooner or later.
Moving on from the storylines, let's talk about their draft. They did not have a first-round pick this season due to the Will Anderson trade from last season. I would say that worked out for their benefit as he won a Defensive Rookie of the Year and they got the Offensive Rookie of the Year. They went corner, they went a tackle, they took a safety in the 3rd round out of USC. They took Cade Stover, the tight end out of Ohio State. Should give Dalton Schultz a little bit of competition there for tight end 1, even though they do have Brevin Jordan still on this team. They took a linebacker out of Oregon. They took another running back, Dwar Jordan out of Louisville, who was insane numbers at the combine, if I'm thinking of the right guy, because I may be off on that. It might be the other Louisville running back that was in this draft. But don't quote me on that. They took an edge out of USC. They took a defensive lineman out of Auburn, and they took another tackle, Ladarius Henderson, out of the great state of Michigan. If you guys had to evaluate their draft here.
Man, I love their first 2 picks, man. In the 2nd round, Kamari Lassiter, Georgia. You can't go wrong with any type of Georgia or Alabama defensive player. That's just me at the pro level. And then Blake Fisher is a hell of a tackle from Notre Dame. I'm not sure. I believe he will probably, he'll be Larry Tunsil's backup there for some depth.
He could essentially he played
right
left
tackle.
he played left and right tackle at Notre Dame.
Yeah, so
but who am I telling you? This is the biggest Notre Dame fan I know.
The other kid that went top 10 was their left tackle. But I love Cade Stover's another nice young player, nice tight end. Jamal Hill's another sideline linebacker that can rush the court passer. So I like what they did in the draft, especially with the first 2 to 3 picks that they got. They got some guys that can fill in some depth needs. I expect Lassiter to play a little bit more than maybe some of the other guys that are here on this list. So
especially since they have Jeffrey Okudah penciled in as like cornerback 1 or cornerback 2, I guess technically. He has been unable to stay on the football field for long stretches of time in the National Football League. They also brought CJ Henderson in, who has been a straight bust in the NFL. This guy is going to get an opportunity to play, I think, at some point.
CJ Henderson out of Florida, right? University of Florida, super fast. What is this, year 2, year 3, friend?
CJ Henderson's been in the NFL for 5 years. I feel like he was on the Rams team on that Bengals team when they went to the Super Bowl and had that.
I feel like he just got in the league for some reason.
He's 25 years old. He's been in the league since 2020.
2020, so 4 years, yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I just remember he had a hell of a combine. He just ran a 4.3 40 at one of the.
But overall, I think they did a pretty good job with their draft, addressing some needs, even though they didn't have a first-round pick. So.
Yeah, I think. What you can do. For a team like Houston, you got to go get some depth picks, and especially when you have 2 seconds, you don't have a first. You're gonna get guys that are gonna be depth picks. You got to try to get basically best player available that fits your team.
Scheme.
Yeah, in your scheme, yeah.
So Isaac Guardo is the running back I was thinking of. They had the crazy combine that was compared. So not the guy, not Jordan. But moving on from there, let's talk about their free agency. That's where they made the biggest splashes here. Obviously, they add Stephon Diggs via the trade, Joe Mixon via the trade. They bring in Danielle Hunter. They bring in Danico Autry. They did lose Devin Singletary, Sheldon Rankins, Malik Collins, and Jonathan Gennard, a player who led this team in sacks most recent season with 12 and a half.
Yeah, Jonathan Gennard. But you replace him with Danielle Hunter, who I think should be, by my estimation, should be an upgrade, in my opinion.
I agree.
Opposite side.
Danielle Hunter has put up crazy numbers in being just the only guy. Can you imagine what he'll be with having somebody on the other side that can
Will Anderson?
Can put constant pressure on the quarterback. That's
can't double him, and you can't double him no more, man. Yeah. And I like Danico Autry as well. Obviously the big fish is Stephon Diggs, right? And Joe Mixon for that part, right? Because I mean,
I think he just stabilizes your running back room. Like last season, you had Devil Singletary. Yes, he was fine for you. Like the people thought Damian Pierce would take this massive step forward. It just never happened. But Joe Mixon is good, and he's going to be used to playing against behind a trash offensive line. Like he should be really good for them this season. Like he's going to be.
I'm sorry, TJ, but this is a fantasy thing. Man, if you drafted Damian Pierce, you're just like punching air because he went pretty high, man. I mean,
you drafts already. Good God!
No. I'm the last season. Like I had Damian Pierce in like the first.
It's one of my sleepers. I was like, oh, this guy's gonna be great. And he wasn't.
Dude, he was like a tier 2 running back, tier 3 running back when you drafted him, bro. You were picking him in the late first. He was either going to be. He was one of the 1 or 2 running backs that would go on your slot, and he was just like God. He was not that great. So whatever, he was terrible. Yes.
So, anyways, but yeah, I mean, the big fish is Stephon Diggs. I mean, you got a guy who's been there, done that. I mean, this also feels very similar to like what Buffalo did with like. Where they had Josh Allen, right? And then they trade for Stephon Diggs. And then that team just took off after that. Like, what if this is the same effect? You have a good quarterback and you add a Stephon Diggs and this team just takes off. It becomes one of the better teams of the AFC.
Okay. The only thing we saw, so we saw the writing on the wall last year, right, TJ? He was unhappy as hell in Buffalo. He didn't like some of the decisions that were being made by the coaching staff. He didn't like some of the decisions that were being made on the fly by Josh Allen at the quarterback position. It's like, get me the ball. Get me the ball. I'm your guy. Get me the ball. And when you're not getting me the ball, I'm your guy. I'm going to have a problem with it. And you know how star wide receivers are in the NFL. They can be, sort of prima donna-ish.
Diva-ish.
Diva-ish, yes. So.
But this is where he loses that argument because when Josh Allen needed him the most, he did throw him the ball. Guess what happened? He dropped it.
Yeah, he did. You're right. He did drop it.
Went right through his hands, and you want to be mad at somebody, like, bro, the opportunity to shut them up was that playoff game against Kansas City, and you dropped the ball. Wide receiver 1, you dropped it, and you had a step on the dude.
Yeah, it would have been a touchdown. It would have been a touchdown.
So I think when you look at the TJ, you think this has got to be the best. Supporting cast that he's ever had though in his career.
Stephon Diggs.
Stephon Diggs, in my opinion.
I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah, man, come on, bro. Nico Collins, Tank Dell, Marlon Schultz,
Robert Woods, Joe Mixon.
You can't double team him.
Let's not forget about Davis Mills and his neck.
I know he had Adam Thielen back in Minnesota.
But hey, man, real talk like that.
That's probably
that's arguably, that's in the conference, like him, Adam Thielen, TJ Hawkinson, and Dalvin Cook. Like, bro, like
DJ Hawkinson wasn't there with Joe Mixon.
He was like yes, he was. It was either his first year, like, because I'm pretty sure he got traded after they drafted him.
No, because Detroit they never played together.
Who's that tight end then? They had a solid tight end.
It would have been what's his name, Kyle Rudolph, or
definitely Kyle Rudolph, and probably the other kid from the Jets,
Irv Smith Jr. was on that.
Was Conklin on there? Conklin?
No,
Conklin wasn't on there.
Tyler Conklin?
No,
it
was Kyle Rudolph. Kyle Rudolph, Adam Thielen, and Dalvin Cook, bro. Like that.
Kyle Rudolph in his prime,
bro. They was putting up numbers like Beebs. That's be respectful.
I mean, that was a solid unit, but it's not close to the unit. Like, on paper. On paper.
We know what that unit did. This unit ain't did a damn thing. Yeah.
I said on paper, but I like this unit better on paper. Joe Mixon, Stephon Diggs, Nico Collins, Tank Dell, Dalton Schultz, Robert Woods, Damian Pierce, Noah Brown. I mean, it's a who's who.
All of them
And then-
dudes
and
ain't
then-
gonna play. All of them
Brevin
dudes.
Jordan, I like too. I mean, that guy's got
All of
talent.
Oh man, Brevin Jordan as a backup tight end, man. I'm telling you, bro. Hey,
All of
I'll
them
be
dudes,
balling with these dudes in Madden, bro. I'll be killing teams.
bro.
No,
All of
no,
them dudes,
you just drop all your offensive linemen, replace them all with wide receivers and tight ends, and just
bro.
have this crazy free
Y'all-
flowing
so-
offense.
But you do realize all the names you just named. There are gonna be games where all of them don't see the field. Like that's gonna happen.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah,
100%.
injuries happen, yeah.
Like I'm not even speaking on injuries, is he? I'm just saying like there may be games where they just don't see they gonna be DMP coach's decision. Like they just won't see the field. It's gonna happen. So that's a new that's also gonna be a new territory for CJ Stroud to to mitigate. How you gonna handle somebody that you was throwing the ball to last year, not seeing the field, and they're clearly gonna be they're gonna be disgruntled. Like you can't go from playing a lot to barely playing at all and expect things to be the same. How you gonna feel when when Stephon Diggs pulls the diva act on you? Like what you gonna do then? Like
Yeah,
that's
we
new territory.
You know, one thing I'll say this. When you get in a new relationship, you're in the honeymoon phase, right? The first year is always the best years of everything, and then it can either be a hell of a ride or it could be just a terrible downfall. So I want to talk about Joe Mixon though. He's got an opportunity to he's got a not I don't want to say second chance, but he's got kind of a breath of fresh air here in Houston. New offense, you know what I mean? Like it seemed like his time was coming in Cincinnati. Thank you for your service. He had a hell of a career, but I think he can, like David said, bring a stable, like some stableness to this backfield that they haven't had, like even last year and the previous years. Since what? Arian Foster,
Arian Foster, or like the early David Johnson, when he was like
David Johnson, yeah, right. So yeah, so I think Joe Mixon's a hell of a and then for a guy like CJ Stroud, he's a hell of a pass protector in blitz pickup situations. I mean, Joe Mixon will put a linebacker on his ass in a blitz pickup. So I mean, and he's good catching the ball out the backfield, running between the tackles. I love. He's
literally an every down back. Like there's nothing he can't.
He's 100% a 4 down. Forget a 3 down back. He's 100% a 4 down back.
4 down back, yeah.
It's and again, like you on paper, you don't play games on paper. You don't play like it is what it is. Like you can say, like you can look at it and be like, oh man, I'm expecting them to do this and do that, and it's like, okay, they don't play games on paper.
Speaking of which, let's move right into their schedule 2024, and let's talk about playing some games on paper. Ceiling, floor for the Houston Texans. What do you guys got looking at their schedule? They got Kansas City, they got Miami. They do have to play Buffalo. They got to go to Lambeau and take on the Packers.
No, bro, you getting everybody. You getting all the first. You getting everybody's best. So,
well, yeah. I look at the first 3 games. TJ, my bad for cutting you off.
No, you good.
I look at the first 3 games. I'll let you go. Second year quarterback, first year quarterback, possibly first year quarterback. Turnover machine / turnover machine at quarterback is Sam Darnold. Just saying, first 3 games are gimmies for you to be. And then I think playing Jacksonville at home, I think they can start 4-0. They don't get their real test until Buffalo comes into town.
Buffalo.
I think that like we talk about the floor of this Houston Texans, looking at their schedule. I mean, their most difficult games, they got them at home. Like they get Buffalo at home, they get Detroit at home. They get Miami at home. They get Baltimore at home. The only really real test that they have on this schedule that they have to go on the road for is Kansas City, Dallas, and Green Bay. That's a really good.
New York at the Jets on the road.
We talked about the Jets yesterday. We got to see what they look like with Aaron Rodgers healthy before I'm really, really going to take them serious.
Yeah. If he is healthy, it's still all right.
If he is healthy, it's still Aaron Rodgers. It's still in New York, and yeah.
My point is, I think their floor is like something like 8, 9, 10 wins. Like I think
10 wins. Yeah.
like they have a really high floor, and I think the ceiling is something like they probably lose that game to Buffalo. They probably lose at Kansas City. I mean, there's a scenario where they go 14-2 this season.
Their schedule isn't the toughest when you bring it up. Like Buffalo at home, Detroit at home, Baltimore at home, Miami at home. If it was switched and they were on the road against those teams, I think you would be singing a different tune about this Houston Texans team, right? You'd be like, ceiling is probably 11 games, 10 wins, as opposed to 14.
Yeah, and it's like New England's gonna be like tough to play in that first 6 minutes, like the first 6 minutes of the game. Are you get what I'm saying? Like New England's gonna be the type of team where it's like as long as you let them hang around, especially at home, as long as you let them hang around and that crowd is in it, they're gonna be tough. But if you take that crowd out of it early, yeah, you got them. That's gonna be the story of the New England Patriots. Green Bay always tough at home. Buffalo, like you want to get to a point where you're tough no matter where you are, home, road, whatever. That's Buffalo, that's Kansas City, that's Miami,
Baltimore,
Detroit. I hate to do this, but Detroit, you got to do it again, like that. This is where we are with the Detroit Lions. But ceiling, I'm going 12. 12, yeah. I'm going 12-5.
I will go 14-2 as my ceiling. I'll go 10-7 as my floor.
I'm going 12-5. Is my 13 at the most. I'm not doing 14-2. Like, see, you David, you doing exactly what I started the show off doing.
I know. I'm drinking the Houston Texans Kool-Aid. I think this team is going to be fantastic. It's like I'm all in. Like, I think they're going to be excellent.
Like I see.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna take a prediction on their schedule. I'm gonna go 11-6. And I think that still wins. I think that still wins the AFC South. I still think that wins the AFC South though. I think they split with Jacksonville. They sweep Tennessee. They sweep Indy. I think playing that Green Bay game is a toss up. I had them as a loss. Of course I did.
You know, I'm breaking news.
I just think the Packers are going to win every single ball game.
Yeah, no shit.
I would be surprised if they go 17-0 in my prediction. No, I just think that game might. I'm interested to see that game because like obviously I'm gonna watch it, but but the two quarterbacks in terms of two young elite quarterbacks.
We probably might all have to watch. We probably might all have to watch them. They probably gonna put them up on CBS. Like, let's be real.
I think that Detroit Lions. I think that Detroit Lions game might be the one. I think that Detroit Lions game might be one of the highest scoring games this season.
They're gonna call it.
I think the Miami Dolphins game might couple that. You might couple that. They might say hold my beer that game with Detroit Lions and Houston because that
70 steamer.
Yeah, I don't know about 70, but I think both teams will put up some points against each other.
Real tough.
I think Baltimore can win anywhere. Doesn't?
Yeah,
Chicago.
That Chicago game.
It's interesting. That's a trap game in a way
because it's super early in the season. Thank you. That's all. That's the only point.
And you don't have any tape on Caleb Williams as a pro. Early.
That Chicago game gonna be super interesting because it's super early in the season. Everybody's still working out the kinks. I don't expect teams I don't expect their key starters to really have a lot of reps at this time of the year because I don't expect them to play a lot in the preseason. Plus, they play each other in a couple weeks at the Hall of Fame game, and I really don't expect them to play a lot of players then.
No.
And so the main difference between this season and last season is this season is chock full of expectations. Yep. You don't make the moves that you make without them. And you don't Izzy's, because I don't know how much you heard of my opening spiel. One good season and CJ Stroud is top 10, top 5. And I'm like, damn, what happened to the years of, okay, you had one good year. Now do it again. Have another good year. and then another good year, and then another good year, and then another good year, and then another good year. Like one good year and one good year makes you top 10. That's never sat right with me, and y'all can hold my feet to the fire because like I've always felt that way. 1 year don't make
2 3 years.
Man, at least like maybe 3 or 4. Like bro, like it's
name the quarterbacks.
But
who are the quarter? Well, I mean, the show's ended, but I mean, if you could name like
because
how many quarterbacks you putting ahead of him, how many quarterbacks you putting ahead of him? Right, Pat Mahomes, Joe Burrow,
Burrow,
Prescott, Lamar Jackson,
Josh Allen, Jackson.
Listen, that was my question. Are we speaking strictly AFC or league in general, like the whole league?
Are you putting Tua over CJ Stroud abilities? No.
Are we doing?
Are you putting Jordan Love over him? Who some people are calling?
I think they're at the same tier.
He's in the same boat. I can't.
No, but I'm saying, that's okay. So some guys say that Jordan Love is a top 10, top 12 quarterback. I'm not. So I'm trying to think of like, okay, like I've only named 6, 7. I mean, am I putting Jared Goff over him? Am I putting Matthew Stafford over?
Yes, absolutely. I would.
We're putting Matthew Stafford over.
Yes, 100%.
I think that's close. That's
yes,
close.
Yes. Pat, Jared Goff. This is no particular order. Pat, Jared.
I'm not putting Baker Mayfield over him. I'm not putting.
No, that's a debate. Hold the hell on. That's a debate.
All right. So wait.
Justin Herbert,
Justin Herbert.
Pat Mahomes.
You definitely put Justin Herbert over him.
Lamar Jackson.
Josh Allen.
Dak Prescott.
Dak, 100%. That's 5.
Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts, yes. 6.
Yes. That's 6.
Yes.
Y'all said slow.
Jared Goff. Did we mention Jared Goff?
No.
I'm putting Jared Goff over him, bro.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Kirk Cousins.
Matt Stafford. I said
I don't know about Kirk Cousins.
I'm putting Matt Stafford over him. Y'all can think on. I'm putting Matt Stafford.
Brock Purdy? Is Brock Purdy going over CJ Stroud?
Now that's an interesting one because Brock Purdy is he a top 10 quarterback outside of that system?
I mean, that doesn't really matter right now, does it? He's in the system.
No, I mean, he's in the system. Okay. But I mean, are we in terms of talent, arm talent, size, skill, IQ?
Well, I think because of what he's shown, like
I can't take over Brock Purdy. I mean, I just can't.
CJ Stroud might be a top 10 quarterback. It's close.
I mean, we didn't even mention Aaron Rodgers. I mean,
no. We're laying that to bed. No,
he's not.
I mean, for next season, as long as Aaron Rodgers is healthy, give me Aaron Rodgers for just next season.
He's not like the Baker Mayfield, like that's a conversation. We are not finna sit here and act like it's not. That's a conversation.
Maybe Deshaun Watson is no longer a top 10 quarterback.
He hasn't been a top 20. He hasn't been a top 20 quarterback in 5 years. Let's pump the break.
Say what you want about Tua, but if somebody said they want to take Tua over CJ Stroud, you can't sit here and act like it's a crazy statement.
But we will talk quarterbacks again another day. This has been our Houston Texans preview show.
Geno Smith in the show. Geno Smith in the show.
Give me CJ Stroud, dude.
Hell no. You better stop. Why would you even interrupt? No.
You've been sipping whatever Izzy's been sipping on that. LeBron James is a Lakers all-time 5 Laker.
Man. Oh, bro. Man,
that's
don't
worse.
Get me started on this shit. Don't get me started on this shit. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna bring that up on the very next crossover podcast. We will have that discussion. All-time Lakers.
Bring it.
We should do that. We should do that. We should pick one team. We should pick one team. Hold on. We should pick one team out of the association, and we should all come to the table and talk about who's their all-time starting 5 and who's their 6th man. I like that. Instead of
call it the nice. Yeah, but yeah, I've been David Huffman right there. Israel Rivera, TJ Hopkins. Thank you very much for joining us here at Prime Sports World. Please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. Team, what do we do here at the Prime, my friends?
We bring the heat, baby. Hey, and shout out to the WNBA for locking in a big time TV deal, $2.2 billion deal, media rights with ESPN, NBC, and Amazon. So
Big time.
yes,
Well, love to
shout
see
out
it,
to
man.
you. Hey, you gotta thank the rookies. The vets gotta thank the rookies, Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. You know, those two ladies brought it. And also Asia Wilson. Give Asia Wilson her props.
That's a topic. That's a topic for another day. I'm gonna say, yeah, we can show them love, but if I'm some of them other players, I'm kind of feeling some type of way because they should have been advertising them the way that they advertised Caitlin. Like Sabrina Ionescu was Caitlin Clark before Caitlin Clark, and she did not get that love. Like, let's be real. Ionescu was giving buckets at Oregon, and she fell into that West Coast bias.
We'll be back revisiting. We're swinging into. I don't know which division we're doing next, so we'll just keep an eye out for that content. I'm David Huppin. You guys all.
What have we done so far? This is the AFC South.
We did the AFC and the NFC South. So hold on a second.
Let's do the East. Tell you. Let's just do the East.
Oh, hold on. I like to. I have a system to this. So hold on a second.
Let's round it up.
Yes. The East makes sense. We will do the East next. Yes. So it'll be the NFC East. So the Washington Commanders. The NFC Washington Commanders get the next episode of the Prime. Let's keep an eye out for that content. You guys all have a good night and stay safe out there. We may run this on Friday or Saturday. Just keep an eye out for all that content. You guys all take it easy and have a good night, guys.
I know. Don't bother me on Friday. I'm playing EA college football.
I swear to God, bro.
All day.